Oh, yes. Good morning, Yankees universe. KOD Nation, stand up, and all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Thursday, March 9th edition of the Yankees Morning Brew, and I can't hide it anymore. I was super excited about this episode because I had to have Uncle Tats help me out. Uncle Tats, good morning.
Good morning, Hector. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Good morning, all the DJs, and make sure you're on. You're hitting that like button.
And make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure you're waking up to get your coffee. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's do a little roll call. Anthony Medina's in the chat. Medina, what it do, my guy? G-Man for Life is in the building. My guy, TC Stills. Yo, TC Stills, thank you so much this past Tuesday. The fans and everybody really enjoyed that last episode, so I definitely got to tap in with TC on another one. Mikey Mazza, of course, is in the building. And, of course, like always, the open panel will be available later on the show. But before we get into any conversations, I must ask you guys, because there's 13 people watching, if you guys can hit that like button while we're in the building. And as also, if you're watching over on the old channel, if you're watching on the KOD Media channel, make sure you tune into the Yankees, the Morning Brew Sports. Make sure you sub to our new channel, the Morning Brew Sports. Going forward, starting next week, all of our content will be on the Morning Brew Sports channel exclusively. So make sure you subscribe to the new channel. Make sure you hit that like button, and let's start the conversation. Good morning to my guy, Jonathan. I'll join if I can join. Jonathan, the link will be in the chat. So whenever you're able to join, Jonathan, you can join. Oh, Ocean View Cafe crew, what it do? Coffee crew. Hey, my guys, Uncle Tats, though. Good morning, gorgeous. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Yankees, they look like they're going to be a really solid unit coming out of spring. Still a lot of question marks though. I don't want to sugarcoat that. But you're seeing a lot about what's going to be the infield alignment. That seems to be one of the hot topics this spring, especially with the emergence of Volpe. And what he's been able to prove that he has developed into a major league player. The question now is, where are you going to play him?
No, 100%. And, like TC still said, they put out the lineups already. Peraza looks like he's coming back from that, little foot scare, so he'll be in the lineup. Or everything points to Oswald Peraza winning the job. IKF going to be a bench player, if not used in a trade, and Anthony Volpe going down to AAA just to start the season out, right? According to Ken Rosenthal, the inside track when it comes to GMs around the league is that everybody knows that the starting shortstop job for the Yankees is Oswald Peraza. The only person that doesn't know that fact is IKF, right? So IKF is just going to be on the bench. They're showcasing him, see what he can prove, if he has anything. Listen, he's hitting under 100 when it comes to spring training. Willie Calhoun, like TC still is saying, he's been really good so far in spring training. A lot of the invites, when it comes to Rafael Ortega, Willie Calhoun, a lot of these invites, they're showing what they have. Aaron Hicks is actually looking like he's found something in the wheelhouse. I don't know if it's just he forgot to play golf this spring training and he's not playing golf, but it seems like Aaron Hicks has turned himself around. What's your thoughts on Hicks before we jump into any of the other topics, Tats?
The name just gives me shivers. It gives me nightmares. It makes me want to just not even turn on the TV. I'm just so done with him. I really am. Because, his bat may be looking a little better this spring, but we've been tricked by spring before. Right? And this goes on both ends of it. The players that are playing terrible, all right, they may be working where they're only going to be swinging at one pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You looked at 3 fastballs down the middle, but they're looking to adjust their ride to the off-speed stuff. The slide is down and away, and trying to really recognize those pitches and work on the contact to spray the ball around.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll have players like we're getting with Volpe and Dominguez that come out like fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, we've been tricked by Higashioka. Last spring we thought he was gonna, without the shadow of Sanchez, we thought he was gonna. We found our guy.
Yeah.
Look at what he do after spring. Just like Tyler Wade, they're spring training all stars. That's all they are.
Yeah.
So with Knicks, I'm just. I have no confidence in him whatsoever, and if I don't have confidence in you, I have no need for you.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, and I listen, and every point that you just made is very valid. I just want to give a quick shout out as well because we got some new people that just joined the chat. NYY News, Ruben is in the Ruben, my guy, what it do? Ivan Manny is in the building. Ivan Manny, good morning, gorgeous. Hope all is well. Mr. Alan Landsman, he says Scott Efro started a throwing program. So if we have any good news, that's some good news right there. Because when it comes to Scott Efros, it's a guy that we got for the bullpen. He got injured. Yes, we understand what happens when you get injured, but hopefully he can come back towards the end of the season. Just like the news that came out yesterday when it comes to Frankie Montas, that apparently everybody around the league knew that he was injured. He was damaged goods when he was traded, and the Yankees still traded for him. And then on top of that, still gave up all that pitching depth from the minor league system in order to get Frankie Montas, right? The fact that if you struck out on Luis Castillo, I understand you still want to bolster that rotation. You don't settle for the second choice, and you definitely do not overpay when it comes to that second choice. Uncle Tats, what's your thoughts on the news that came out yesterday when it comes to Frankie Montas being damaged goods when the Yankees got him?
Well, that's Cashman's MO. He loves the injured player.
Mm-hmm.
We did it twice last offseason, but we're only talking about one because it's in the negative. Just like when we traded for Bader in a boot.
Mm-hmm.
You traded away your pitching depth for an injured player that you knew was in a boot, but because Bader was able to produce in the postseason, revive himself and come back in the postseason and play well, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
But the umbrella of the issue is that Cashman keeps trading for these players that are injured that he hopes will recover to contribute.
Yeah.
One worked and one didn't. So the trade deadline to me was a wash.
Yeah, no, I get that. When it comes to that trade, Brian Cashman, he takes all the egg in his face when it comes to the Frankie Montas trade. If Frankie Montas comes back towards the end of the season and gives you anything, you could put some cherry on the cake if you want to. But for right now, that trade looks like it's a wash. Probably one of the worst trades Brian Cashman has made as a GM for the Yankees when it comes to the sea. I'm not sure what is a worse trade. Either the Frankie Montas trade during the season or the Jeff Weaver trade during the middle of the season with the Detroit Tigers.
Definitely Weaver.
At least Weaver was out there pitching. At least Weaver was making his starts. Frankie Montas, he's about to turn into Patrick Swayze and go ghost for the season.
But the thing is, and this is something that you and I have talked about on your channel and on my own, is we wanted Montas. We kept saying, all right, we missed out on Castillo. We didn't want to give up the top guys for him. All right, our plan B, Montas. They went and they got it. We kept saying, you need to get Montas because we need that pitching. We need the pitching. We need the pitching. Just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean it's a terrible trade, especially from the fan point of view, because we wanted the move to be made. So we can't just say because it didn't work out, now we don't like the trade. It's hard to. It's not fair to just kind of flip flop to fit your narrative or your frustration.
Yeah, no, I get that respectfully. I definitely do get that. But if anybody has been following me for like over the past year, like going back to last year, or when I used to work with my guy Kev over on the BX Sports Jedi Network, myself, I was one of those Yankee fans that I didn't want the Yankees to come anywhere near Frankie Montas. When we traded for Montas, I was going to embrace the trade because this guy is on our team. But me personally, if you guys go back to me before the trade deadline, I didn't want Frankie Montas for one reason. The Oakland Athletics do not have a good track record when it comes to trading their pitchers or trading their position players to another team, right? There's probably only been 2 or 3 players that actually succeeded on a new team after they was traded from Oakland. Josh Donaldson was one of them, right? Tim Hudson with the Atlanta Braves was another one, and you could probably say Matt Olson with the Braves is the third one, right? But if you go back and look at the track record, Sonny Gray, right? Barry Zito when he left, right? When it comes to Mark Mulder being traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, right? They do not have a good track record when it comes to trading. I shouldn't say they don't have a good track record. Teams trading with the Oakland A's don't have a good track record when it comes to trading with the Oakland A's. So that's the only reason why I would be opposed, why I was opposed to the Frankie Montas deal, right? My man NYY News Ruben, he said, I was one of the few that preferred Castillo over Rodon or Stan Pat because Montas just barely got off the IL and hadn't shown he was fully back. Absolutely. Mr. Bradley Jewish is in the building. Bradley, good morning. Hope all is well. Tyler Tabbitt's in the building. Ivan Manny said, Weaver hurt the Yankees far worse. We expected him to be a number 2. Montas came in, was still a 4th pitcher to eat innings when Monty was moved. Yeah, I feel you. Brad Drew said, Mulder was a trade with the St. Louis Cardinals. Hudson was a trade with the Braves as well. Zito was a free agent signing with the San Francisco Giants. But Mulder and Hudson, those are 2 players that were traded. Mark Mulder was traded for some of the prospects from the St. Louis Cardinals that never panned out into anything. My man Ruben says Oakland pitchers, for whatever reason, struggle in New York. Hitters developed by Oakland do better in New York, like Giambi, Swisher, Eric Chavez, and the 2015 Donaldson would have lit up New York. Yeah, when it comes to what you said, Ruben, no disagreement when it comes to that. Giambi may be the only one because it was only 2002, right? After we signed his first year with the Yankees is when he hit over 300. After that first season with the Yankees, he didn't even come close to 300 after that.
No, it's the impact of the trade. When we did get Giambi, he came in and he was a contributor right away, and he was an impactful contributor. You know, where we haven't seen that. We didn't see that really too much from Sonny Gray. He had up and down games, and just recently, what we're talking about with Montas. The pitching is not working out, but that's Cashman's biggest problem is his pitching. That's what I think. If you take a second step back between comparing the trades, the issue with we traded for an injured pitcher, and that's on Cashman. The other part of that equation is what he gave up to get Montas.
Yeah,
that's why some of the frustration is so fresh on the fans because we don't have the pitching depth like we think we do.
Yeah,
you gave up. Say we didn't get Montas back. Say Clark Schmidt did not have the bounce. It was not as solid as he's looking. Where's your other option? You have Herman, maybe somebody else. We don't have JP Sears to put into that rotation to fill that gap while we wait to see what's going on because we've already looked. Debbie Garcia is nowhere to be found. Luis Hill, he's not going to be available this year. So they don't have a backup plan to be a backup plan.
Yeah.
And that's why if you're able to make a move this spring training, don't worry about the major league ready player. I would make any trades at this point. I would try to rebuild your depth.
No, yeah, definitely. And yeah, Ivan, just like you said, I just looked it up right now because I remember when they had that trade that happened in 2004, a big piece that went back to Oakland between St. Louis was the prize catching prospect Derek Barton, right? Dan Herron was a throw-in in the trade, and Dan Herron wound up being the best player a part of that. But even Dan Herron, when Dan Herron was traded out of Oakland, he was never the same pitcher. Right, he had probably had one good year with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Besides that, I was another pitcher that was injury prone. But shifting gears back to the Yankees, right? Because bringing up the St. Louis Cardinals, it was all a part of the plan because the Yankees played the Cardinals yesterday, talking about Oakland with Frankie Montas. So everything is a full circle over here on the Yankees Morning Brew, right? But when we switch it over to Anthony Volpe. Let's switch it over now to Anthony Volpe, Tats. Because I think you and I can say that we are in the camp of wanting Volpe to start the season with the team, right? But what do you think is going to happen when it comes to this conversation about Anthony Volpe, and how do you think it's going to shake out for the rest of spring training?
I think what we're going to see the rest of spring training is you're going to see Volpe playing a lot of third and short. I think Peraza's already got shortstop locked up. They might keep him in a game now and then at short just to keep his his range fresh. But I think you're going to really see him more in
Ivan Manny, definitely. Yo, shout out to L.I. Yankee King. Hold on, where he at right here? L.I. Yankee King.
Believe me, he's in there.
Yo, L.I. be going hard with the trades. He said, I would trade F-Rose to the Phillies for a right-handed pitcher, Andrew Baker, number 17 prospect, infield Scott Kingley, who can replace IKF on the bench and have two guys. One thing you could say about when it comes to L.I., right? You may not agree, right, when it comes to his trades, but one thing that you can say about every trade scenario that he proposes, they are well thought out, right? They are well researched because he knows the prospects, he knows what position they're in, he knows the name, he knows what level. So when it comes to his trades, you may not, or some Yankee fans may not fully love L.I. Yankee King trades, but when it comes to being knowledgeable, when it comes to having the information, L.I., you out there with the best of them, L.I. Keep it up, brother. It's all jokes over here, L.I. Keep it. But I hope Estevan Florio becomes somewhat of an all-star just for L.I. Yankee King, honestly, just for L.I.
No, but with Volpe, one, he's got to break camp. You and I will say this until we're blue in the face. But I think that the only way that it does work is moving IKF does nothing for Volpe. All it does is create a roster spot for him. Right? So you're either going to have, you're going to have Torres, Peraza, and Donaldson at third, short, and second. So having IKF as your bench player, all you're doing is you're removing IKF. Now Volpe is your bench player. Yeah. Because you can't have Donaldson on the bench because he's not versatile enough. You can't have Torres on the bench because he's not versatile enough. You can't have him on the other side of the field. He sucks at shortstop. We've seen it. And that's the other thing. Just because he's drafted as a shortstop doesn't mean that that's the only position that he's going to excel at. He may decline as a shortstop as he develops. And Torres is the perfect example of it. Yeah. They threw him a shortstop because he was drafted as a shortstop. He could play it. Not necessarily.
No, so, definitely.
But Volpe is one of those. He's like a blessing for the organization. Because
hold on 1 second. I want to give a quick shout out to my man JD Sports Talk. JD's in the building. If you guys are familiar with the Knicks universe and Knicks Fan TV, my guy JD co-hosts with CP the franchise and Alex over there. JD, salute to you, my guy. He said, do you guys think Aaron Judge's comments would put pressure on Cashman to have Volpe up? Judge knew what he was doing. Play the kids, Peraza, Volpe, and the Martian. JD, absolutely. First time JD has commented on the chat when we're having these conversations about the Yankees, but you could tell my guy JD is hitting it right on the head when it comes to everything that he just said. Peraza and Volpe and Jason Dominguez needs to be up here at the major league level, but when it comes to Brian Cashman and his comments, we understand Brian Cashman, right, has said for years when it comes to the prospects, he wants every prospect to conquer one level before moving up to the next level, right? That's why it's sad to see my friend Andres Chaparro, Yankee prospect, being sent down to the minor league system. We understand that he has to be at AA. He has to conquer AA before he can go to AAA. I think he should start the season at AAA when it comes to the Rail Riders, because last year he hit close to 300, 296 with 20 home runs at the AA level. So Andres Chaparro needs to be up here at the major league level, but we do understand that Brian Cashman wants them to conquer every level before moving forward. Now, when it comes to Aaron Judge's comments, I think it will put some pressure on Brian Cashman, right? Brian Cashman, he's going to have pressure not only from the fans, but you're going to have pressure from your number one franchise player, Aaron Judge, right? And when Aaron Judge put that pressure on you, you got to do something. A man 6'8", that size, putting that much pressure on you, you got to do something. But we understand when it comes to Major League Baseball, it's a business at the end of the day. So if the GMs have an opportunity to manipulate a player's contract and their service time to keep them a part of the system for one more year, they're going to do that. right? They're going to use every rule and everything that's in the book in order to do that. So we can expect Volpe to start the season with AAA, right? Just so you could get that extra year of service time. But on top of that as well, last year at AA, Anthony Volpe, when you look at his numbers, he conquered AA, right? His strikeout percentage, I think it was 17 to 18%. But when he made that jump from AA to AAA, that strikeout percentage went from 17 to 18% to 31 to 32%, right in the middle of both of them, right? So let's see what happens at AAA. If he hits it running out the gates at AAA, bring him up ASAP. Go ahead, Tats.
Yeah, no, I don't even think the minor leagues would help Volpe. I think he's at that point where he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Judge would not make a comment like that if he doesn't believe that he's ready. Judge is not a type that, because we've seen him in interviews, he's very well calculated in his interviews and what he says. So that's where JD is right. It was a calculated move, and it's to put the pressure on.
Mm-hmm.
If this is what Judge is saying, the Yankees have to take that with all its weight.
Yeah. No, definitely. Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Jacob. How are we doing? Right. Hold on. I just want to touch on a comment real quick because Brad Jewett said Efros is injured. No one is trading for him. You know, that is as you say, the smart thing or the normal thing to think. But if Brian Cashman wants to trade for an injured player, hopefully there's another GM out there that's a bonehead like Brian Cashman that would trade for an injured player. But I understand what you're saying. It is common sense that you wouldn't trade for an injured player, especially a guy who actually just had Tommy John surgery or whatever surgery he got to clean up his elbow during this off season. But if there's a sucker out there to be I'll take that sucker right now.
No, you can't. And like I said, like you said, you know, LA is very calculated with his moves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, agree or disagree, he does put the effort in.
I love LI, but if I keep doing all that praise, he gonna put 50 different trade scenarios in the chat right now. Yeah. Go ahead, Tats.
But no, we already, you know, we just had the news with Tommy Kahnle being hurt, and do you want to, you know, you just lost an arm in your bullpen that was solid. Do you want to trade a solid arm? I think right now moving Efros is not the way to go. You need that bullpen depth. When it comes to arms, you never, unless it's an offer you can't refuse, you never give up an arm. Never, ever.
Hold on. JT in the chat said, hopefully Gardner is not hurt because Cashman might find him and try him out at left field. JT, that is 100% fact. If the Yankees, that's why last year, Tats, if the Yankees actually had like the old timers game, like right, and Brett Gardner came back, he would have probably played with the Yankees for the rest of the season if he did good in that old timers game.
It is crossed my mind at least every other day that it would not surprise me on opening day we do see the return of Gardner. But, it's Gardner. I feel bad for Gardner. I really do because he did nothing wrong.
No. When it comes to Brett Gardner,
he
right?
Aged out.
When it comes to Brett Gardner, he was your regular everyday guy, right? Us normies, right? That don't have the ability to play professional baseball. We related to Brett Gardner more than we could relate to like a superstar like Robinson Cano, right? Because Brett Gardner wasn't gifted with all the talents in the world, right? He had to work for where he was at, even out of high school, going into community college, and then getting the opportunity to go to JUCO and then being signed by the Yankees. He had to work and bust his ass to get to where he was at. So we related to that, especially if you're one of those New Yorkers that get up every day, brush the coal out your eyes, take the train to go to work or take the train to go to school. You related to Brett Gardner. It's just at the end, when Brett Gardner was 33, 34, 35, 36, the Yankees wanted to rely on him more because he was left-handed bat, and that's what annoyed us as fans.
Yeah, I always like the term blue-collar athlete because that really was Gardner.
But my man JD, he said, I'll get to the Nemesis Astro conversations after the trade deadline when I know what the Yankees roster will be, leaving them out. What is your biggest concern for this team heading into the season? Tats, I'll let you take it off and I'll finish right behind you. Thanks for the question, JD.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that they're going to have is the offense. Is that's been the problem every freaking season since these kids have come. Since we've seen, what was it, 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The offense has been the problem, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be even worse because we don't have the speed. I think we need more speed.
And no, I agree with you, and that's why Volpe development is going to be key,
Yeah,
right? Oswald Peraza's development is going to be key, right? Oswald Cabrera, his development is going to be key. Shout out to Ozzy Cabrera as well. Made an amazing catch in
yeah,
center field yesterday. That kid is a switch army knife. But when it comes to JD's question, my biggest concern when it comes to the Astros and the Yankees, it's not our pitching, right? Because our pitching didn't get lit up in a 7-game series or didn't get swept by the Houston Astros last year. That was our offense that struggled against the Astros. Aroldis Chapman giving up the home run, that wasn't our offense that was struggling. That was our pitching, right? I mean, our bullpen depth, right? So when it comes to last year, now that Chapman is gone, now that the bullpen looks like it's going to be a little bit better than it was in years past, it's going to come down to that lineup. It's going to come down to the health of DJ LeMahieu, because we all know what Aaron Judge is going to do. We all know what Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton is going to do. It's going to come down to the players that are around our big sluggers, right? DJ LeMahieu is going to be the X factor. He is the only other top end part of our lineup, a top end hitter that actually puts the bat on the ball and does not strike out. I've seen positive signs from DJ LeMahieu this spring training. It looks like that foot is healthy. He's able to turn on that inside fastball. DJ is known for going up the middle into right field, but seeing him turn on the inside fastball, it's a good sign for this season. Tats, what you thinking?
No, I think that that inside fastball that was where you got that you were able to watch it and go, all right, that's who we've been waiting for. Like that's who we missed. That's the DJ that we've been waiting, that we were yearning for, and it's not been, that's the type of hitting that we need in the postseason because that's pretty much killing us. We're losing games 2-1 because but we'll have 15 hits and 1 run because we were sloppy running on the bases, double plays, just swinging swinging out of your shoe tops. It just doesn't work. It's we had the injured players. We had the players we needed that were injured at the time because we may not have gotten past the Astros last year. But like what we were saying on our show the other day was it was without LeMahieu and Benintendi. If we had those two guys, maybe it went 6 or 7 games. Maybe it was a more competitive series. We don't have a crystal ball to go back in time and know what would have happened.
Yeah.
But knowing how those two have their approach their at bat, you have to believe that they would have knocked in a couple of runs.
Yeah. And it's not, like you said, it's not making up excuses, right? But in the playoffs, DJ LeMahieu wasn't there against the Astros, right? Andrew Benintendi, who we acquired during the middle of the season, wasn't there to play the Astros. And as well, Matt Carpenter literally just came back from a foot injury that sidelines him for almost a month or more than a month when it comes towards the end of the season, right? But like you said, not making excuses, not saying that if the Yankees had those 3 players in the lineup, we would have won that series. But I could definitely say very confidently, if we had those 3 players in the lineup last year, most likely we won't get swept. I can say that confidently. I'm not going to say the Yankees would have won the series, but I could definitely say that we would have been way more competitive and we would not have gotten swept by the Astros in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't, I'm not saying we would have beat them, like I said before you went, but it would have just been all we wanted to do is at least feel like we were competing.
I apologize.
Don't worry,
Uncle Tats, because I see right here my guy TC Stills. I literally just lost it. But what's your thoughts on the possibility? And guys, let me know in the chat as well. What's your thoughts on the possibility of Anthony Volpe being a leadoff hitter, using that speed and having a combination of speed and power at the top of the lineup, going back to the days of Alfonso Soriano? What's your thoughts on that, real quick?
I think Volpe. I would actually like to see more from Volpe in the leadoff spot. I want to see that tested a little bit more and more on a consistent basis. Because right now, the only type of, we only have LeMahieu really as our leadoff hitter. Some can make an argument for Bader. Because Bader does have he's a very smart base runner. So and he can get on and move around the bases. And it's going to be a lot easier to steal bases now than it was for the last few years.
Yeah.
Actually, and because I always get these weird thoughts in my head.
It made me wonder, we all get those weird thoughts in our head, Tats.
It made me wonder the other day, like, what would happen if with the new bases and the pickoff rule, how many bases would Ricky Henderson been able to steal in his career?
Ridiculous.
You want to talk about an untouchable record.
Definitely breaking 1,000. Definitely breaking 1,000 when it comes to that. Great question as well, JD. He said, what's your thoughts on the new shift and the clock rule? Rizzo's average should tick up about 15 points, and the clock, it would help the viewer get a quicker ball game, but will it help or hurt the pitcher? Personally, me, and I'll throw it over to you, Tats, right after this. Personally, me, I like it. Right, it's more of a cat and mouse game now between the pitcher and the catcher. When it comes down to baseball, Warren Spahn said it best. He said baseball is 80% mental, 20% physical. Right, when it comes down to baseball, it's all about timing. If you can disrupt the hitter's timing, you'll be able to get them out 9 times out of 10. Right, so when it comes down to it, the bases are going to be a little bit bigger. Right, we understand the pitch clock is to shorten the game, right, to get a different audience, to get the younger kids that are just on their phone with TikTok all the time, like me, right? But it's all about being able to just expand the game and make it shorter. I'm gonna say this right now. Yesterday, when I was with Pete, shout out to my guy Pete at NYY News TV, I was calling the game with him on Game Season Live, and literally we started the game, and just like that, the 7th inning came. So it did make the game go a lot faster, right? That I'm not going to lie. But the opposite end of it, are pitchers going to get hurt? Maybe, right? If you look at the World Baseball Classic, and this is the thing that I do not understand about what's going on with the rule changes, the World Baseball Classic, then they're not implementing the rule changes for the WBC. So those players that are away from their team in spring training right now, they're not getting used to these new rule changes. They're not implementing them while they're playing during the warm-up before the season. So you expect all those players that are playing for the World Baseball Classic to come back when the season starts and automatically pick up all these new rules when we've seen how many people struggle with them this early in spring training, Tats? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's just ridiculous. But the World Baseball Classic, you're not going to have the Japanese League. They're not adopting our rules. If we're the only ones using these rules, everybody else is using the right rules. I'm not a fan of the changes, and I'm not going to apologize for it. But why should they all have to adjust to us? What? Because we're Major League Baseball. It doesn't work that way. It's
because we do it better in America, Tats. No, I'm joking.
Well, that's true. But it's no, I think that I think we're going to see a tale of 2 seasons with the pitching because of this clock. I think in the beginning the batters are going to have the disadvantage because the pitchers are just going to be able to they're going to control the pace.
Yeah.
But I think as games become more intensified, you're going to see a lot more overthinking, and you're going to have them putting too much strain on their arms because they're going to feel rushed.
Yeah, I thought, yesterday.
If game 162 and you have the bases loaded in the 9th inning, and it's, if you win or lose this game depends on if you go to the postseason. Wouldn't you want to just have that extra couple seconds to be like, all right, the reason I actually broke this down in the other day with a coworker of mine because he was on my side of it, but he took a different approach. The reason why he does not like these rules, and when he brought it up, I agreed. This is all caused by the overuse of analytics. That's why pitches take so long. That's why batters take so long because they have so much data being shoved in their faces that they can't just see ball, hit ball. They don't do that anymore. It's going to take a couple of years for that mindset because you're not going to have time for the analytics anymore. Yeah. You're not going to be able to just take your hat off, look at the pitch, with the alignments and this and that. I think that was an integral part of the game because you need to slow things down. That's just That's baseball. I'm sorry. You need to be able to. If you pitch better, like we watched Nestor. Nestor pitches better when he's at a fast pace. Cole does not do that. Cole's not a fast-paced pitcher.
I apologize. I was gonna bring it up because yesterday Garrett Cole looked phenomenal, and he was just get the ball, throw it, get the ball, throw it, get the ball, throw it. He was letting it fly, and Garrett Cole, he was as well using that pitch clock to his advantage. Right, there was some pitches that Garrett Cole, he was throwing it with 7 seconds left on the pitch clock. Right, he was throwing it in some pitches yesterday with 2 seconds left on the pitch clock. So he was using it to his advantage. Like someone just put in the chat a little while ago. Roger Clemens said it's going right here. Olsen Views Coffee Crew, I appreciate you. He said Roger Clemens said it's going to turn pitchers into throwers. And back in the days before the 80s, it was an unwritten rule that you just get in the box. You that's what it was back in the days. It wasn't until I think 1982 or 1983 there was a player with the San Diego Padres. Last name was Harris. I'm forgetting his first name, but that was the gentleman that he was the first one to step out the box multiple times during an at bat. So it graduated from that from 1982, 1983 to what it was last year, right? And nowadays we can admit last year it gets out of hand sometimes.
No, I admitted to that. I think they took a strategy and exploited it. And now baseball had to correct it, right? Because yes, nobody wants to see, you adjust your gloves 15 times. But if you're
not the Nomar.
No, that does drive me crazy. I just, the throwing over rule I think is ridiculous. I'm a grumpy old man, and I said it. I think I said it on the open panel with you a couple weeks ago, as well as on my own. Is at the end of the season, I'll reassess if I liked it or not. Yeah. I'm not closing my mind saying I'll never accept it. My mind may change. Yeah. But my stand right now is I don't like the rule changes.
Yeah, you said it was ridiculous because it froze up at that. And you said it was ridiculous, right? I just want to make sure. Oh, okay, because it froze up on my end just for a little bit, and you cut in and out. JT said, "Yo, not for nothing, but I feel like every day that there was a game, it was an episode of that Abbott and Costello skit of who's on first. There was no consistency in the lineup or defense. Yeah, and not for nothing, right? Last time on an open panel, I brought this up. It's all about making money." When it comes down to this pitch clock, when it comes down to shortening of the game, it's all about being able to overcharge now for commercial packages when you go to the production company that handles the game or broadcasting the game, right? But this is the thing. So far in spring training, right, when it comes to all these rule changes, this has been the highest viewing spring training since 2012, 2011. So over the past 12, 13 years, this spring training, early part of the spring training, this is the highest viewership Major League Baseball have seen so far in spring training. And that's even with them not making every game available. We were just talking about that before we came on. It's 2023. Why isn't every spring training game available on the Major League app? Why is it that it's 2023 and we don't get the World Baseball Classic on the Major League app? Why are we paying all this money if you're not giving us the content we want to see?
Yep. Well, that's because a lot of it is leaving the Baseball Classic out of the
Wait,
equation.
what? No. Rodon has a forearm strain per Brian Holt.
Ah, shit.
Oh. Language.
Sorry.
I'm joking. Shout out to my man 19 comment in the chat. What it do? Salute. And yes, the open panel. I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now for the open panel. But like always, guys, when we do the open panel, please be respectful to everybody that comes on the open panel. If you disagree with anybody on the panel, do not use that as an opportunity to jump into a debate, because like always, like I said, this channel is not a debate channel. We don't do debate style formats over here. What we do is break down analysts. What we do is give takes and we break them down. We don't debate with anybody on the take. As well, if you guys can, please respect the terms and services of YouTube and Twitch, because at the end of the day, Tats and myself, we want to still keep our jobs when it comes to being content creators, right? We still want to be allowed to be able to come on the panel. And my guy Chris the Flash is in the building. Chris, where you been, brother? I was putting out the bat signal for you for the longest, my guy. Hope all is well, Chris. Hope all is well. But without further ado, we got our two first contestants on the panel. My guy TC still checking in from the West Coast, and as well, Mikey Mazza and the 4-Train Express checking in from the upper part of the country. Mikey Mazza, what it do, baby?
What it do, man? What it do?
What's going on, guys?
I'm good, bro. So we just got the news, Rodon, forearm strain. Mazza, you put it in the chat. Let me know what you think and the inside information if you got for it, because I wasn't able to look into it. Mazza, break the news for us and then throw it over to TC Stills to get his take on it. Go ahead, Mazito.
So Rodon is out. They're saying it's about 7 to 10 days or so with the more evaluations. This is per Brian Hoach. This is, all over. This was on Twitter. He posted it on Twitter. Also per Brian Cashman. Not a good sign already. Now the injuries are hitting. I mean, it's better they hit now than they do later on in the season. But there's nothing we can do. We just got to hope that he's all right.
Mm-hmm. Copy. TC Stills, bad news. Bears is here. Give us your take, TC.
Well, I just saw on Twitter from Talking Yanks, it also says that Lou Trevino will start on the IL.
Yep.
Oh, God, another one.
So that's 3. Rodon, Canley, and Trevino all starting the season on the IL. That's a terrible start to the season.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. We got 2 more people backstage that I want to bring up. I want to bring up Ivan Manny because it's been a minute since he's been here. Ivan Manny, what it does. And of course, number 1 on the field, number 1 in our hearts. He is a true Yankee fan. My man Michael Caputis is in the building. Good morning, Caputo. It looked like you just woke up to some bad news from Carlos Rodon. Caputo, virtual hug. Let's start off with a virtual hug first off.
I just saw this. I didn't even know that he landed on the injured list.
Caputo's, give us your take real quick, and I'll throw it over to Ivan to get his take. Go ahead, Caputo. The floor is yours, baby.
That's awful news. I mean, that's your newly acquired acquisition already on the injured list. See, this is why I love the move, but this is why a lot of teams were scared to sign him, and they weren't going to give him those 6 years, $150 million, because the guy's always injured. He was a big risk. So now, who's in our rotation? You got Cole, Severino, Nestor, if he even pitches, because they said he had hamstring issues, and now you got to go with Schmidt and Herman as your 4th and your 5th starter. That's just terrible. So much for the best rotation.
Don't worry, Caputo. I'm gonna get you down to Florida, get you to throw that knuckleball for the Yankees for this season. All right, bro? Don't worry, I'll get you down there to spring training.
That's not good, man. You got to be very upset.
No, of course, yeah, of course. I try to still have a smile on my face when it comes down to it. I want to get Ivan Manny's take on it. I see Li Yankee King is backstage. Li, it has a question mark on your camera. If you could just refresh and come back in, because it's saying that it's not connecting on your camera. Go ahead, Ivan. Let me get your take, Ivan.
Better handling injuries now than August and September. Let's get them out of the way, and hopefully we can. Maybe that's the excuse to play some of these younger guys. Well, all these guys are injured. I mean, I just think that it's better now than later. I'd rather Rondon hurt in the beginning of the season than when we need him in September and October.
Yep.
Okay, so Li Yankee King is in the building. Li, I see that trade for Patrick Corbin. I do not want Patrick Corbin, but Li, with the news about Carlos Rodon, let me get your take real quick, and I'll throw it up back to Uncle Tats to get his take on it. What are you thinking, Li? What is a random player that you want the Yankees to trade for now? Who is that random player, my guy?
See, this is why I wanted a 6-man rotation. Because Rodon has health issues. Cortez has health issues. Sevy, as much as he's my favorite Yankee, and yes, it's not Cole.
You out Medina later, baby.
Rodon. Yes, Severino is my favorite Yankee over Gleyber Torres. But
and over DJ LeMahieu, we get that. Hold on. But the real question is he your
Florio.
favorite Yankee over Florio? Exactly.
Yes.
If you were stranded on a desert island, LI Yankee King, who would you rather be stranded with? Would you rather be stranded with Luis Severino or with Estevan Florio? Which one?
Sevy.
Copy. There we go. At least Severino could probably make some mofongo or tres golpes or something like that. But Uncle Tats, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Uncle Tats. Let me know what you think when it comes to this breaking news that just happened right now. And Li, just so you know, just a word of advice: if you go to trade any Yankees prospects, don't trade my friend Andres Chaparro. That's my friend. Okay, that's my buddy, pal. Go ahead, Uncle Tats.
The news sucks. That's all you can really sum it up with. But like Ivan said, rather now than later, so he may miss his first start. I don't think at this stage we could just say it's the end of the world. And talk to you later, Brad. And I'm not going to jump off a cliff yet. It's not like there's any structural. It's just a little soreness.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna, as a precaution, they're gonna just miss his first start of the season. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Same thing. That's the same way I'm gonna look at it. Like you said, doesn't seem like there's any structural damage. Knock on wood. If you guys are next to a table or something like that, please knock on something for the love of God. Exactly, everyone. But yeah, I don't think it's any structural damage or anything like that. So hopefully it's something that it just sets him back a couple of weeks. And instead of being there for the first week of the season, he's there for the second week of the season. I'm just a little bit upset now, right? Because April 1st was going to be Carlos Rodon's start at Yankee Stadium. Hopefully he still makes that start April 1st when we're there in the building. But Luis Severino, LI Yankee King brought up Luis Severino, right? I'm going to throw the question around the table. I'm going to start off with you, Uncle Tats, then throw it over to TC, then Caputo, then make the way to Ivan and Mazza. When it comes to Severino, what do you want to see from Severino this season to justify the Yankees talking about giving him a contract extension or the Yankees just giving him a contract extension? What do you want to see, Uncle Tats, from him? Then throw it over to TC, Caputo, and make our way around the circle.
Now, I'm actually going to agree with LI for a change, and I actually really enjoy having Severino on this roster. I think he's somebody you do try to lock up, get another extension on, or give him the contract at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. What I would like to see is just a full season of health.
Yes,
even like what we have with Rodon right now. He's got a little sprain. You want to get skip him a day. I'm not going to count that as right. It's just another injury. But I want to see the Severino we saw in 17-18, where he was just dominant.
Yes.
When he first came up, he looked like there was nobody that the Yankees can get that was better. Mm-hmm. I just want to see dominance.
Copy. TC, same question going your way. When it comes to Luis Severino, what do you need to see to justify the Yankees even entertaining the idea of giving him a contract extension?
Well, just like Uncle Tad said, I need to see some health. He needs to stay healthy. I need to see between 150 and 175 innings this year. I need to see mid 3 or lower ERA. Maybe. I think he can at least hit 15 wins. He's gonna have to be a workhorse this year. And if he does that, I'm extending him.
Copy. Caputi, same question going your way when it comes to Luis Severino. Not sure how you feel about Sevy, but even if you want the Yankees to bring him back, what do you need to see from Severino to justify that decision, brother?
If he stays healthy, but that's a big if because nobody on this team stays healthy. Healthy and Yankees don't mix; they don't go together. Nobody on this team, they're all injury prone. They're like crash dummies. So that's a big if. If he stays healthy, I give him a 2-year deal. That's it. I don't go any further than that. But if he stays healthy, nobody in this rotation and this offense, this bullpen stays healthy. So big if.
Copy. Ivan, that was very passionate as well. Caputos, I appreciate that. Ivan Manny, same question going your way. What do you need to see, brother?
I'm going to follow suit and obviously say health. The guy, when healthy, is a stud. He's definitely that second tier of top pitchers. He's a phenomenal talent. My thing is I think the Yankees have slighted him a few times in the past, and I don't believe that he will re-sign here, regardless of what happens. Them holding him back last year and saying that he was hurt, and he kept saying he wasn't. And several other instances in the past, I don't think they've handled him very well. And I think he may want to walk anyway and try to see greener pastures, even though there isn't anything greener than Yankee Stadium, right? But
facts.
I bet the reality is he's a great talent. The pitching market next year is all there is. Position players are kind of so as far as free agency next year. So I can't see him not getting a 4 or 5 year deal elsewhere. But I'd love to obviously retain him. I like him. I just don't think he loves us. Okay?
No, true. I want to give a shout out real quick. My man Lorenzo Cardona's in the building. Enzo, what it do? Go ahead, Mikey Miles. The same question going your way, brother. What do you need to see to justify a contract extension for our guy Luis Severino?
So I'm gonna piggyback off of everyone. It's got to be healthy. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to make at least 20 to 25 starts. He has to pitch at least 175 innings at minimum, because he's got to be able to be that workhorse if someone goes down. It has to be that way. Because if he can't do that and cannot stay healthy, then I'm not issuing him any kind of contract at all. Because he hasn't proven over the last few seasons that he can stay healthy. And that's a problem with this team. And we need help.
No, definitely. As well, guys, if you're in the chat right now, if you're watching along on YouTube or Twitch, if you guys can, click to the link to the new channel, sub to the new channel. I see we got 21 people watching us over on the Morning Brew Sports, and there's about 10 people watching us on the Knights of Dejan channel. If you guys are watching us over there on KOD Media, click the link that's in the chat right now. Jump on over to the Morning Brew Sports and come join the conversation. But LI Yankee King, when it comes to your favorite Yankee, what do you need to see to justify a contract extension for Luis Severino, brother?
Now, I'm on the complete opposite end of everybody else. It's like I need to see help.
But we're not shocked by that. But go ahead, talk your ish, King. Talk your ish.
I would offer him an extension now, because you don't need Luis Severino pulling an Aaron Judge. And then it's like, nah, we're not going to offer you a contract extension, because no one in the fan base is pressuring us to give you a contract. Now, I am calling Luis Severino and his agent into the room, sliding a 6-year, $120 million deal. Boom. You have Rodon, Cole, Sevy as your top 3 for years to come. And you pretty much have a dominant top 3 for 6 years. And then you just have Garrett Cole being a corpse at the back end of his contract. But if we win a World Series, Cole, go be a corpse at the end of your contract. We really don't care.
When it comes to that, I see what you're saying. And at first, when you was giving your take, my guy Li, I had a bad taste in my mouth. But as soon as you brought up, him having an Aaron Judge type of breakout season and demanding more money, myself and Ivan, we started shaking our head like, yeah, that is a valid point right there. If the Yankees were to lock up Luis Severino to a 6-year, $120 million contract, that's $20 million a season for a guy that's making $15 million right now. When you look at our pitching rotation, we will have Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Luis Severino, and you could throw in Nestor Cortez as well, because he is signed when it comes to his contract. He hasn't even hit arbitration, so he's on the contract for at least 4 more seasons with the Yankees. Our rotation would be locked down for the next 4 to 6 seasons. So that is a valid point. Me personally, what I need to see from Luis Severino is basically what everyone on the panel except for Ally Yankee King said. I need to see health. Call me crazy. Look, like Ruben said, call me crazy. I think Luis Severino would be durable this season. I honestly think that Luis Severino would have a big breakout season this year. 1, because he's on a walk year. 2, there's not that much pressure on Luis Severino to be the number 1 starting pitcher on this rotation, especially when you got Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon in the rotation. when you had the emergence of Nestor Cortez last year, it takes a lot more pressure off Luis Severino. So I could see Luis Severino having a sneaky type of breakout season this year where he could go into free agent market. Like you said, it's going to be a lot of pitchers in the free agent pool next year. He could go out there and he could demand $25 million a season because pitching is a high-end commodity in the sport of baseball. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But Uncle Tats, I'm going to throw another question your way, and let's throw it around the round.
I just want to add one more thing.
Go ahead, Tats.
Severino. So I just looked up with the upcoming free agents for starting pitching.
Go ahead.
And that's where I think LI is onto something with locking them up early in. Don't wait till the end of the year. Because just off the top of the list is Shohei Ohtani, Max Scherzer, Kershaw, Severino, Syndergaard, Greinke, Stroman. None of those guys out. Severino is going to be. They're going to be a lot of teams going after him because at the top of the free agent list, that's a lot of age on those players. And Ohtani's just going to cost a lot of those teams too much money.
Yeah,
and there's only maybe 3 teams that could pay him.
Don't forget
Severino's going to be a hot commodity on the free agent where the Yankees have a risk of being outbid.
Yeah, you're right. And when you look at it, the pitchers that you just named, Ohtani, he's going to demand big money.
Yeah.
But who would you rather give a multi-year contract extension to, a multi-year contract to? Matt Scherzer or Luis Severino? Matt Scherzer, Mad Max, he's a phenomenal pitcher. He's going to go down as a Hall of Famer. But at the same time, do you want to invest all that money into an old pitcher like Matt Scherzer that probably will miss some time because of his age?
No,
that's something that you got to really have the conversation about. Shout out to my man James Cook in the chat. He said, remember, your best ability is always availability, and that is spot on. When it comes to Luis Severino, 20 to 25 starts, like Mikey Mazza said.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 150 innings to 170 innings, like TC still says. Michael Caputo, the same thing he just said. I think we could all agree that we want to see help from Luis Severino. And at the same time, like Eli said, I agree. Extend him before the season starts. But we all understand the Yankees, that's not their motto. They want to wait till the season is over. Mikey Mazza, you got a dip?
I got a dip, but I wanted to add one more thing onto what you said.
Go ahead. Give a hot take before you dip, Mazito.
Severino's, without that pressure on him, is like the middleman. So if you think about it, he can either play the back end or the front end of the rotation. So in a way, Li's got a good point. Lock him up early. At least now you don't have to worry about watching your middleman walk.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Mikey Mazza, love you, baby. I'll see you around. And guys, if you guys are watching along, make sure you guys follow my man Mikey Mazza and the 4 Train Express. Mazza, one love, baby. Peace. My man NYY News Ruben said if Yankees didn't waste the whole 2019 misdiagnosing to only him to get Tommy John surgery, he would have been back early 2021, and we would have had seen more Sebi over the past 2 years. And that's something that you can't deny. You know, the mishandlement when it comes to this team's medical staff over the past few years is something that's embarrassing, right? Hopefully last year when they revamped the entire medical staff, that's something that we won't see in the future going forward. But Uncle Tats, I'm going to throw it to you and then throw it over to TC Stills. We're in the middle of spring training right now, right? We all know starting rotation, it's what it is right now. But now that we got the news with Carlos Rodon, if you had the opportunity, or if you could figure out a trade scenario to trade Gleyber Torres and IKF, who are you going after? Are you going after a starting pitcher, or are you going after another reliever to either fill the spot for Rodon or Tommy Kahnle? Who are you going after?
I would check the market to see if there is a pitcher out there like like a Chad Green, where it can give you a spot start, eat a couple of innings, hand it over to the bullpen, or just be a bullpen piece. Yeah. So I think if there's a way to get an arm that can be like a long man, like the old fashioned long man pitcher, I think that's how I would attack it.
TC, same question going your way. When it comes to this hypothetical trade scenario, Torres and IKF, are you going after a starting pitcher or a reliever at this time?
No, it's too early. I would definitely still look for an outfield person. I was thinking that the Dodgers had a an LI type trade scenario with IKF and Glaber going to the Dodgers for Trace Thompson.
Yeah, I saw that being
left,
floated around.
Yeah, for left field. But no, the pitching depth, I think we're fine with Schmidt and Herman filling in. We have some guys that can be the bullpen arms like Brito, Cordero. There's Crook. There's some guys that can fill in temporarily. So no, I'm not panicking and going for a starting pitcher. We don't have any luck with getting starting pitchers anyway. I don't know. Real quick, I got something for you guys to even make it worse news for you guys. This is Yankees pitchers acquired since 2022 trade deadline. Frankie Montas out 2023. Lou Trevino on the IL. Scott Efros, TJ surgery out for 2023. Tommy Canley starting on the IL 2023, and Carlos Rodon on the IL 2023. So, what's going on with our luck with pitching? So.
Damn, you don't gotta keep kicking. You don't gotta keep kicking me when I'm low right now, TC.
Yeah,
you don't gotta do that.
But,
shout out to 161 River Ave, Jason. He said Rodon, Trevino, and Canley headed to the IL. Yeah, it's breaking news right now. My guy James Cook, he said, go get Michael Caputo's favorite free agent pitcher, Trevor Bauer, right now. I heard he's a VIP. I'm joking. Li, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Li. When it comes to the hypothetical trade, because we all understand you are the trade guru, that little mind of yours, it got hamsters running around with different trade scenarios. But Li, Yankee King, who are you trading for? If you have a name, please throw it out because you know all the names in every minor league system. Li, who are you trading for? A starting pitcher or a reliever right now at this moment?
I wouldn't really trade for a starting pitcher or a reliever. I would just let Herman fill in until, even though I don't think Herman is a starter whatsoever, he's more of a relief pitcher. But I wouldn't trade for at all a starting pitcher, at all a reliever. We need to trade away some relievers because we got too many. We got young guys coming up that I really like Greg Weissart, like Ron Marinaccio, and Michael King is, of course, my guy in the bullpen.
Not trading any of those guys.
Nope, not trading any. Not trading Michael King, but I would shop Lou Trevino because we have so many right-handed pitchers, and he's a free agent at season's end. It's business. But I wouldn't really shop for any starters or relievers. But okay, I need a rant for a second if I may be afforded the time.
Give me 1 second. I'll let you go on your rant. I just want to get let Caputo and Ivan jump into the conversations. But before they jump into the conversation, our guy Jonathan is in the building checking in. Jonathan, good morning, gorgeous.
Can you see me, or am I too dark in this?
Small. A little bit dark.
May be able to see you just a little bit. But Jonathan, good morning, brother. Caputis.
Yeah.
Question going your way, brother. What are you trading for? A starting pitcher or a reliever right now at the moment? Because I know you're not set with this team. You wasn't set with this team during the offseason. So what are you looking for right now with these random injuries that just popped up, brother? What are you thinking?
Well, it's hard to replace injuries like this when you just got I mean, I know what they're going to do. They're going to stand pat again. I would try to get both, but they're not going to do anything. I would still focus on the infield, third base, trading Donaldson, trading IKF, trading Hicks. I would still do that, but they won't do that either. So nothing that we want them to do, they're going to do. They don't listen. They'll get a major injury like this and just basically stand pat and do nothing. You think they're going to do anything to replace Rodon? No, of course not. They wouldn't do anything if they lost Aaron Judge right now. I mean, that's the Yankees for you. They just think that it's all sunshine and rainbows. Nothing's going to happen. We're going to be all right. I understand, like you said, it's better that these injuries come now than later, but the Rodon injury is a massive, massive, massive loss. I mean, this guy was the biggest acquisition of the offseason, and you just lost him now for God knows. It better just be like a couple of days and not a month or two, because if we lose him, he to me, I think he's going to be the ace of the team and not Garrett Cole. You just lost your number one guy, and he was the biggest acquisition, and now he's down. That's heartbreaking news. I don't know how you feel about it. It's not the end of the world, but I mean, come on, you got to be more like
No, Caputo, I agree, bro. I don't think any of us is going to disagree with you on that take, because when it comes down to it, like you said, Aaron Judge, I don't look at Aaron Judge as like our off-season acquisition. No, because we just gave him a contract extension. Carlos Rodon was our big-time off-season acquisition, and he's injured right now. My guy 161 Jason says forearm injuries can be worse than elbows. JT precursor. Yeah, hopefully it's just a precautionary measure when it comes to that. But Ivan, same question going your way, brother. And good morning to our guy Eric Wallace in the building. EY, what it do? Ivan, who you trading for right now when it comes to all these random injuries coming up, brother? Oh, you're muted, Ivan. You're muted. You got to unmute yourself, bro. There you go.
Sorry about that. They need to trade it for another starting pitcher, 100%. Montas is walking at the end of the year. Seri, there's the chance that we could lose him for sure. That shortens up what we have as far as controlled pitchers for the future. Obviously, there's questions with Sevi's health, Cortez's health, Montas, who we're never going to see him. So I think they need another starter, period. Even if it's a young, highly touted prospect of some sort. I don't know how they acquire him without trading Torres. And that's probably the guy that's going to get us something. IKF is only going to get us salary relief. He's not really going to get us anything more than a prospect. And we have no chance, and I meant zero chance to get rid of Josh Donaldson. I hope that halfway through the season they just cut his ass. Oh, sorry. And just get rid of him, because I'm done with that. He can't hit anything unless it's on a tee.
Yeah.
So,
no, I get that. Listen, you trying to trade for J.A. Happ right now? If any of you guys trying to trade for J.A. Happ, bring him. I'm never. Jonathan, same question going your way, brother. Good morning as well. Thank you for joining the panel. When it comes to these trades, these injuries that just popped up, Carlos Rodon, Tommy Canely, who are you trading for? Or if you're trading for anyone right now, would it be a starting pitcher or a reliever arm? And if you guys can, let us know in the chat as well. 161 River Ave, let us know who you're trading for. Mitchell Fernandez, who you traded for. Lorenzo Cardona, if you guys are trading for anybody, let us know. NYY News, Ruben, if you're trading for someone, let us know. But go ahead, Jonathan, what's your thoughts?
Before I trade anyone, I want to see what Matt Cook can do. And if he can fill that role as a starter or reliever until one of these guys come up, or in addition to one of these guys when they come up. So I always like to try internally before panicking and trading away the farm for one guy like Sonny Gray or Montas. I don't like these panic moves that sometimes the Yankees do, and they trade away a bunch of capital for another guy who they could actually get the next year. They use some of that trade capital, not draft capital, and possibly get someone even better than who's available right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. When it comes down to it, that Frankie Montas trade, if you guys seen Luis Medina, who was in our farm system, and we use as one of the pieces to trade, he looks phenomenal in spring training right now for the Oakland Athletics. He looks like he's going to take that next step to be a dominant starter in the league. Go ahead, Jonathan.
And a pitcher like Medina is some of those young guys that the Yankees never really give a chance to before trading them. That's what I hate about trading young pitchers, because if you trade someone before you have even a chance to see what they are in a major league spring training, you might be trading for a lesser player. You might be getting someone back less. How best to? You might be trading more than you're getting back.
No, yeah, definitely 100%, Jonathan. I agree with you on that.
And they always will hate the fact that they didn't protect Whitlock in the Rule 5 draft.
God, that's another one right there. That Jesus Christ, I can't. I'm speechless right now. Uncle Tats, go ahead. What's your take on that last Garrett Whitlock take right there?
We never win. It doesn't matter. We hold on to the wrong players and we let go of the wrong, the wrong ones. it at the time with Whitlock, yeah, he was he was creeping up as a fan favorite in the minors, and it just sometimes that's just the business part of it. You know, it's not every move is going to be favorable. Some hurt more than others. It's just you can't just dwell on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dwelling on it. I'm just
Yeah.
seeing what happens. And
No,
No, I got it. I get it, Jonathan. I get it.
How do the Padres feel that they gave away Roberto Clemente to the Pirates in the Rule 5 draft?
Hey, that's another one right there. And then you can even go even further. Most recently, I think we brought it up on Tuesday's show when the Chicago White Sox, when they were trying to make that run for the postseason, they traded Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields.
Yeah.
For James Shields, they traded Fernando Tatis Jr. And look what Tatis Jr. turned into. I understand, you know, and this is a great conversation. Thank you, Jonathan, for a beautiful segue. I wanted to bring this up. You know, we got a portion of our fan base wanting the team just to spend money and to trade prospects away. I understand that's how we won in 2009, but I'll pose this question. When you look back at 2009, what would you have rather happen? The Yankees get that championship in 2009, or the Yankees not signing Mark Teixeira, and they use that draft pick that they had to give up for Mark Teixeira to draft Mike Trout with the Yankees. Tats, I'll start with you. Who would you have rather have? And let's throw it around the table.
Oh, that's such a trick question. It really, because Teixeira was my boy. I loved Mark Teixeira. You know, even before he was a Yankee. You know, when they got him, I threw a parade by myself. But how do you say you wouldn't rather have Mike Trout at the same time? So that's a tricky one. You know, given the results, I think the right move was made because we do have the World Series, to highlight that move.
Yeah, no, I get that. Sorry about that. I'm just looking right now. Thank you so much. My man Ruben, he on point. He just sent me right now from Jeff Passion. Spring training 2022 versus spring training 2023. Time of games in 2022, spring training, 3 hours and 1 minute. 2023 average time for spring training games, 2 hours and 36 minutes. So they are saving time. They are saving some time on these games. The runs per game in 2022 were 10.6 runs per game. In 2023 so far, they're up. They're 11 runs per game. So they're saving time, but at the same time, the offense is coming up. Let's see. Now let's look at the balls in play. When you look at ground balls in 2022, it was a 235 average for balls hit on the ground. In 2023, it's a 258, damn near 260 average. So the offense is coming a lot better. I'm so sorry to switch the conversation. I just wanted to throw that in there. But TC Stills, same question going your way. When you look back on it, if you were able to jump into a time capsule and go back to 2009, would you have rather the championship, or would you have rather the Yankees be able to have Mike Trout a part of this organization?
Well, if you're knowing you're going to win the championship, yes, I want the championship because the Yankee fans have been screaming. So if we could find the player now that if we got him, we would guarantee us a championship. Yeah, we would do that. But when you're seeing that it's Mike Trout and you know the years and the ability he has, it's hard to not go for Mike Trout. But you don't see that. You just see a prospect, just like we see the prospects now. We just, you know, it's like a crapshoot, you know. Will he pan out? Will he not? So if we can guarantee a championship by getting, you know, someone, Max Scherzer, or whoever, I'm taking the championship, of course.
Copy. Listen, respectable comments, both of them. LI Yankee King, same question going your way. When you look back on it, what would you have rather have, the 2009 championship or the Yankees drafting Mike Trout to potentially, you don't know, win some more championships? What are you thinking?
Now, when we won the championship, I had to go to bed immediately after because I was at school because I was only 10 years old. So I was a little mad that I couldn't, you know, watch the celebration, but school and all that crap. Same school kids. Still mad about that. But I would take the championship.
Yo, Eli, I swear I can't deal with you, bro. I love you, my guy, 100%. But Caputi, same question going your way. I know you love to go back to the 2009 championship, and this is not me trying to be shady or anything. But if you had a chance to redo it, what would you have rather the Yankees' path be? That 2009 championship, or the possibility of having Mike Trout and multiple championships?
Championship, man. I don't take the 2009 away. I love Mike Trout, great player, generational talent. But I'm not taking that 2009 championship away, because right now it would have been, as we speak right now, if we didn't win that World Series in 09, it would have been 19 years, 20 years that we haven't won. So, yeah, I take that champ. And also, did you hear about Stanton playing in right field and Judge moving to left now?
Oh yeah, it was yesterday during the game, and it looked fine for the first few innings. That there was no problem with Judge in left field. There was one play that it looked like he was tricked on the when it was coming towards him. He didn't know which route to take, but after that first inning, he was really good yesterday. I have no negative comments on it.
So if Judge is the left fielder, then they don't have to get a left fielder. Then I would go with that option if it works, right?
Yeah.
I just got a notification on my phone saying,
"Go ahead, Jonathan."
Don will start the season on the IL.
Hold on.
Forearm strain.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the IL right now for the next 7 to 10 days, according to Brian Cashman. Okay. Yeah, and that may push him back to start the season by a week. We just got to see how it plays out. But Ivan, same question going your way. When you look back on it, Lorenzo Cardona in the chat, he's saying, give me the chip. Or I want to just go back to Jason161 when he talk about give him Crook and Jimmy Cordero. Listen, Crook has looked phenomenal as a left-handed reliever that can literally give you multiple innings. That's literally what we want. My man Ruben said, I wish this team had the same durability of our 2009 Yankees had. Yeah, but Ivan, same question going your way. If you were able to go back in time, what are you trying to get, or what do you want?
I got a few points. First of all, I'd definitely take the championship. Can you imagine the drought and how crazed and how angry our fan base would be if we hadn't seen a World Series since 2001? That would it would be like a dagger. It would hurt so bad. This drought is killing me. You know what I mean? Teixeira was the best defensive first baseman I ever got to watch outside of Keith Hernandez. He was he could do anything as far as defensively as a first baseman. I love Tex. As we can say, one player doesn't make a championship as good as Trout was or has been. He's also been injury prone as can be. So I'd take Teixeira every day of the week and that championship, hands down.
Yeah. Can't disagree with that. Jonathan, same question going your way. When it comes to that 2009 question, what would you rather have, the championship or Mike Trout?
Well, I'll take the championship, but also there's one problem with your question, and because they also signed Sabathia and Burnett. So if they didn't sign Teixeira, they would have lost that first pick with Sabathia.
No, because Sabathia was traded during the season to Milwaukee.
I don't think those rules applied at that time. They applied in the next CBA after 2000.
No, because they were used in that CBA. So yeah, if from my knowledge, because I was looking up this question, that was a part of it. CC was traded away because when Milwaukee didn't get a pick from the Yankees.
I believe they did because they got. I believe. Teixeira got traded to Atlanta also.
No, he was with Atlanta for a whole seaon.
Really?
He was with Atlanta for a whole season. In the offseason and before 2008, Anaheim traded him to Atlanta.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was with Atlanta for a whole season. No. But yeah, that's a great point because that's what I was looking into. Like, because I thought that he was traded to Atlanta during the season. No, it was the off season. He was with Atlanta for almost a full season.
Okay. Well, either way, the Yankees also before 2013, the Yankees had, I guess, 6 drafts where not one of their number one pick made it to the major league. From 2006 to 2000, between the years 2006 to 2013, the only number one draft pick that made it was Garrett Cole, and he didn't sign with the Yankees.
Yeah, no, when you look back at the early 2000s, and that's a good point to bring up, Jonathan. Yeah, when you look at the early 2000s, over the past from 2001 to 2010, the only Yankee prospects to call up and actually be impactful was Robinson Cano, right? Ching-Ming Wong, and Brett Gardner. Besides those three,
Phil Hughes also in 2009.
Phil Hughes injured, Jabba Chamberlain injured. So what I'm saying is that turned into actual. Ching-Ming Wong won 18 games with the Yankees, right? He was our ace for 2 seasons before he got injured. Robinson Cano was an all-star second baseman that got a $250 million contract from the Mariners. Go ahead, Jonathan. My apologies.
And the worst thing about the Wong injury is he got injured on the bases, where at this point and in this point of game, I'm sorry I'm so dark. It's my lighting.
All good, bro.
But at this point, no hitter, no pitcher these days would never get on base like that. They would rather strike out a hitter than risk injury on running a base. I mean, I guess the only good thing about Mariano playing, getting hurt in the last season, in the season before last, is he had one more good season, because he would have retired the year before he retired if he didn't get hurt catching a ball in the outfield.
Yeah, I think that would have been a horrible ending, and I appreciate that take, Jonathan. That would have been a horrible ending to Mariano's career if he would have went out with a knee injury that happened in Kansas City, just flying fly balls as well. And Kennedy did have a long career as well. Thank you so much, Chris. He did have a long career. I think he finished second in the Cy Young voting when he was with Arizona. He won 20 games that one season with Arizona, became a reliever also. So back in 2008, if you would have asked anyone who was going to be a star or who was going to have a successful career out of those 3 pitchers, I don't think anybody would have said Ian Kennedy. People would have probably said Jabba. People would have probably said Phil Hughes, but not expecting Ian Kennedy to turn into the solid pitcher that he was for his career.
The mistake the Yankees did with Jabba is switching him from starting to relieving to starting in the middle of the season. If they wanted to make him a starter, they should have just waited till the spring training of the next year and make him a starter.
All right, just one second, because Uncle Tats has to go. Uncle Tats, thank you so much for hosting with me this morning. We got to do this on a regular basis. Make sure you walk that dog, because trust me, as a doggy father myself, I understand when the dogs are scratching.
All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll talk to you all later.
Copy. But TC Stills, next question going to you is 12:21, so we're going to wrap it up with this one little rapid fire real quick. And this is something that I saw on the Tiki Talks on the app that's on the phone, but they were asking Yankee fans or just baseball fans in general. Thank you, Caputo. He won 22 games with Arizona that one season. Thank you so much for that. When it comes to the Yankees and our first basemen, who would you rather have for one season and one season only? And the answers for this question on TikTok kind of disturbed me, but who would you rather have, TC Stills? A prime and healthy Mark Teixeira or a prime and healthy Don Mattingly?
Mine's easy. You know that Don Mattingly is my guy. There's no question. I'm taking him all day, and you already knew because you saw the same thing on Instagram. You already knew what I was going to ask. No, put him on this team right now. This championship, prime Don Mattingly. Yeah, that's my pick all day.
Ivan, same question going to you. Of course, I know it's blasphemy, but I have to ask because there was a bunch of young Yankee fans saying Mark Teixeira, but who would you rather have, Ivan?
Anybody that's not saying Don Mattingly wasn't alive to see him play. I mean, that's the reality. Donnie baseball, when he was legitimately healthy and in his prime, he was like a top 20 player ever. You know what I mean? Like just for those couple years. But because of his longevity, that's the only thing that's ever kept him out of the Hall of Fame. Because of his health.
Back injury.
James, I'm going to get to your question right after the panel goes right now. James, don't think I forgot about your question. I wanted to end it with that. But Jonathan, same thing going your way. Who would you rather have, a prime Teixeira or a prime Donnie baseball?
1987 Mattingly.
85.
Okay, I'm
hitting 353 with 20 home runs. I would take that over someone hitting 250 with 40 home runs.
I see you. L.I. Yankee King, I'm throwing it over to somebody who definitely was not alive when Don Mattingly was playing. But L.I., who would you rather have, a prime Donnie Baseball or a prime Marky Teixeira?
That 2009 is still in my heart, so I got to go with Tex. I'm sorry, that 2009 is still. I was a baby boy. I was 9 years old. I have to go with Tex. I'm going.
We get it.
In my brain.
Listen, we get it, bro. We get it. You know, you can't go back to a time that when there was no cable TV. We understand it and we respect it. All right. We got
for you, Hector. After you're done with
yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna just throw it over to Caputo. Get his take, and I'll take your question. Caputis.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have, a prime Donnie Baseball or a prime Mark Teixeira?
Don Mattingly. I'm old school, so I'm gonna take Don Mattingly, man.
Nah, appreciate that.
Don't forget the low strikeouts. That's
yeah. Look what he did for the first 5 seasons, and his average was like over 300 every year.
Bro, we went through it went through on the last episode, TC Stills. When you look at it, the most strikeouts he had in the season was 43. He had one season where he only struck out less than 25 times in a season.
Yeah.
We was talking Aaron Hicks strikes out 25 times in a 4-game series. But Jonathan, what was that question before I get to James Cook in the chat?
Who on this current team is the most similar to have the Paul O'Neill energy in the dugout? Or I don't know if anyone can knock over a water.
Paul O'Neill energy in the dugout on this team. Woo, that's a great question. I'll throw it around to the panel as well to get their takes. I don't think there's anybody that has that type of fire on this team. Like, I really do not see any. Maybe Domingo Germán, but he catches domestic violence cases. Besides that, I'm not making fun of it whatsoever. I'm just saying. But me personally, I don't think there's anyone on this team that has the same fire like Paul O'Neill had. Like Paul O'Neill, the warrior. Some people may hate him, post playing career, but Paul O'Neill, he was a guy that if I'm going into war or if I'm going down a dark alleyway, going to get into a fight or go to be outnumbered 10 versus 2, I'm taking Paul O'Neill with me on that fight. Me and Paul O'Neill versus 8 other dudes, I'm taking Paul O'Neill. But on this team, I don't see anybody having that dog. It was supposed to be Josh Donaldson, but he got exposed as a fraud by Grandel last year. I don't think. TC Stills, what about you? Who do you think? And then throw it over to Ivan, L.I., and Caputis. Great question, by the way, Jonathan.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Rizzo. I don't know. He doesn't really strike me as a fired up guy, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
My guy Sunil in the chat. Sorry about that, TC. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's all right. No, this team doesn't have that fire and passion like they had. There's nobody like Paul O'Neill. I don't know. What do you think, Ivan? I don't know.
They don't make anybody like they used to, man. That generation's gone. All right, there's no way. No, there's not even a player on the team that has an attitude. It seems like everybody wants to just be friendly and happy and hope to win. They don't have a fiery guy that's going to get in anybody's face, and nobody that has the left leg that he did.
I would say and I'll throw it over to L.I., but the last time we had a player that was close, if not the similar to the fire of Paul O'Neill, was CC Sabathia. Even at the late stage of his career, CC Sabathia was the first one out of the dugout, right? Even though CC Sabathia was 250 pounds, he was the first one coming out of the dugout if there was ever any type of incidents on the field. But L.I., I'm going to throw it over to you, brother, right? Wait, matter of fact, Jonathan, I'll throw it over to Jonathan. Who do you think? And then throw it over to L.I. Who do you think is someone close to Paul O'Neill, bro?
I really don't know on this team. Maybe, possibly Rizzo, possibly. But other than him, I think I don't know.
Oh wow.
Stanton could be a guy like that, but he has a little bit more calmer energy with a couple.
Yeah, he's very soft spoken.
But you don't. The other thing is you don't see these players fight as much as they did back when Paul O'Neill was playing. Paul O'Neill and George Brett especially. Those guys fought each other if a ball came within 2 inches of their face.
No,
Oh,
definitely.
you know what, guys? We're forgetting the guy who just got hurt, Carlos Rodon. Maybe he's the guy. He seems like a fiery guy.
Maybe, but we haven't seen, just like hold on, who someone put Sunil. Shout out to my guy Sunil. Would you not consider Harrison Bader as the closer? We haven't seen a full season from both Bader and Rodon, so it's yet to be seen. Right. Maybe Rodon, but we have to see him out there. Li, what about you, brother?
I'd say it's probably Rodon first and Bader second, and then a long list down, like from New York to California size list.
Now, this is not me trying to be funny or anything like that. A player that may have the anger like a Paul O'Neill is Estevan Florial. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying that. If you watch or you pay attention to when Estevan Florial, when he's at bat, if there's a pitch that he doesn't agree with, he is cursing and he's saying every Spanish curse word in the book, right? I'm surprised that the Yankees don't even mute him when he's up at bat. I think that's why the Yankees don't put him out there, because they don't want him to break the bat over an umpire's head. But if you watch Estevan Florial, pay attention if he plays later on today. If he gets a call that he does not agree with, look at his body language towards the umpires. That the anger.
I knew I liked Florial for some. I knew I liked Florial.
Shut up, Li. Caputo, same question going your way, bro. Who do you think comes close to Paul O'Neill before we wrap it up, baby? I can't stand you, Li.
I got it. The Yankees are soft, bro. I mean, they're soft like Play-Doh. They don't have anybody on this team that has the intensity. Probably Rodon. I've seen what he's done with the Giants and the White Sox. He looks like he has a killer instinct, a killer mentality. He's a bulldog. But other than that, there's nobody on this team that has the fire and the energy, and like Paul O'Neill did. He was a true, warrior, and there's nobody on this team that could replicate the old Yankees. It's a joke. It's unanimous. Wade Boggs. I mean, take a guy like him. That guy was a fiery player. There's nobody on this team. I mean, I could go up and down. Jeter, Bernie Williams, Tim Raines. Nobody, man. They don't make plays like that anymore. That's like they're a dime a dozen now.
Yeah, so even some people hated Chad Curtis, right? But that was a guy that he wasn't scared to even tell Jeter, "What are you doing?" He was a player that even though he was traded, because they chose Derek Jeter over him, he was a player that wasn't scared to tell Derek Jeter. Wasn't that famous confrontation? I think it was between the Yankees and the Mariners that there was a brawl that happened, and then you saw Derek Jeter and A-Rod to the side laughing and joking, and Chad Curtis took that personal and went to Derek Jeter. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And eventually, like I said, he was traded. But
Jeter wanted him gone. Something with the whole thing that he didn't like hip hop or something, and Chad Curtis liked rock, and they had like a fight. And there was other problems too, I think. But I mean, Chad Curtis went up to Jeter and told him, "I don't like the music you're playing." And see, players were more like they would tell you how they feel. Now today, none of them will do that. Now they're just going to keep their comments to themselves, and you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
don't forget Reggie Jackson.
Back in the days when you ain't have health insurance, you ain't care what was happening to you if you got punched in the mouth or anything like that. Nowadays, health bills is too crazy. I'm not trying to afford getting punched in the mouth and having a big health medical bill at the end of the day. But TC Stills, bro.
Reggie Jackson.
What happened? What happened, Jonathan?
I met Reggie Jackson.
Oh, nice. How was that? Me and Jackson, Reggie Jackson.
Not good. Not good.
Well,
I was in the Yankees gift shop. It was him with two guys and me and my mom. I went up, asked for an autograph. He said no before I finished the question.
Too bad.
Reggie Jackson, you got to do better. You got to get my guy Jonathan a signed autograph. But one more before we dip out. My man Lorenzo Cardona said, "Don't forget my guy Graham Lloyd." Absolutely, 100%.
Strawberry.
No.
And Daryl Strawberry going into the dugout.
Jeff Nelson.
That famous picture of Armando Benitez, and then you see Daryl Strawberry's hand just come out of nowhere. But I appreciate
Jeff Nelson fighting the Red Sox.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and appreciate all my guys on the panel. My guy TC Stills, my guy Ivan Manny, Jonathan, Li, Yankee King with the million trades, Caputis, Li, close it with that hot take, and let's dip out, brother.
I'm not going to close with a hot take, but Jonathan, if I get to turn heel in wrestling, I am using that. So easy. I am using that.
Well, I am glad that I am able to bring all of us together. That way, Jonathan can be amused for my guy, L.I. Yankee King. If you do become a heel, my man, I want a ticket for your first show. But like I said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Everybody that was in the chat, my man Cardona, my man Caputis, my man Ruben, 161 was in the building. Sunil was in the building. And like I said, Krista Flass and everybody for tuning in. But like always, fellas, have a safe week. I see you guys next week. And like always, peace out. Peace.